My name is Chip Giles. I'm race director for the Diverse Power Grand Prix. I want to tell everybody thank you for signing up and coming to the race. We have a team out of Nazareth, Pennsylvania that's coming over 800 miles. We have 4 teams out of South Texas, almost at Brownsville, coming over 1,000 miles. We have teams from Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, and Georgia coming to the race. Currently, we have 30 teams registered. That's 18 middle school teams and 12 high school teams. And the race will be on the beautiful campus of LaGrange College. And we think everybody's going to have a great race experience while you're here. The purpose of this video is to give the safety briefing and the race briefing so we don't have to do it on race day. On race day, we want to devote all of our time to getting out and being on the racetrack and also doing some other cool things like the Pit Crew Challenge. So we want everyone to pay attention. There are 2 required videos that you have to watch. This is one, and the other is a video on the race flags. So it's not a real long video. We're going to try to go over all parts of the race, so hopefully answer a lot of your questions and help you visualize what it's going to look like when you get here. Okay, teams can begin arriving Friday, February 22nd at 2 o'clock and start setting up their pit area. This particular event is going to allow you to set up your pits and leave it there for Friday and Saturday. We don't have to do a pit swap over. We'll have one separate middle school pit and one separate high school pit. We'll also begin doing the safety inspections that you have to have your car inspected prior to the race. At 5 o'clock sharp, we'll close the track and we'll have open track for practice laps and testing. You have a full hour to run your car, make sure it's running like you want it, hopefully. And then at 6 o'clock, we have a parent reception in the auditorium lobby of the Callaway Auditorium. Now, we had published earlier that we're going to do this in the hospitality tent, but the lobby's a little bit bigger, nicer. So this is real important, guys. We want all the parents who drive so far and wait so patiently to come to this reception. So, students, make sure you tell your parents to please come to the parent reception at 6 o'clock. We also invite the coaches to come if you would like, but there is no requirement for that. At 6, and the parent reception is probably only going to last about 30 minutes. And then at 6:45, we'll have our first rookie race. We're not real sure how many cars we'll have to race. I'd like to get one rookie race done with everybody who wants to race, but we've got 30 cars registered at this point, so we're anticipating having 2 rookie races if necessary. So these rookie races are 30 minutes each. You have to have 3 drivers, and you have to do 2 driver changes. And it will be under the lights, and it should be a lot of fun. All the events conclude at 8 o'clock p.m. Now, we do have a gymnasium on site for teams to lock their car up in. You're welcome to use the gym to lock your car up. You're welcome to use the gym, or you can use your own race trailer or whatever you brought your car in. Doesn't matter to me. Also, I'm not sure what the temperature will be, but February can be cold, of course. If you want to lock your batteries up in the gym to keep them warm, that's fine too. And then we'll retire probably 8:30 or so Friday night and get ready for a big race day on Saturday. One thing of note is we will have law enforcement security on site overnight, so don't worry about leaving your trailer or whatever else there. It will be protected. All right, we'll start Saturday morning at 6:30 in the morning. Opening up the site from 6:30 to 8:30 is setting up and getting everything ready for the races, late arrivals, and also getting your tech safety inspections. 7:30 to 8:30 is check-in time if you hadn't already done so, and also getting your transponders in. And oh, by the way, everybody gets their transponders when they do their safety inspection. I have 8:30 to 8:45 drivers meeting at start-finish line. This is actually the driver's meeting, this video, but we'll probably get everybody out, try to get everybody on the track a little bit early, and somewhere between 8:30 and 8:45, and get this first race started no later than 8:45 on the dot. So and that first race is a high school race, number 1. That's all 12 teams till 10:15. And while we're having the first high school race, we'll have the pit crew challenge with the middle school teams. And that's right in the same lane as you did your safety inspections. At 10:15, high school race 1 ends, and we have a 15-minute changeover. So what we intend on doing is when we get about 10 minutes out from the end of the high school race, we'll start lining up the middle school cars in the pits, so when the high school race ends, we can go ahead and roll the middle school cars out and get them lined up quickly so that we can start promptly. We're going to have 4 races throughout the day, so promptness is essential. Everybody has to be paying attention and be where they're supposed to be. Middle school race ends at 12, and from 12 to 1 is lunch. And while the middle school race is going on, that's when we'll do the high school pit crew challenge. At 1:15 sharp, we start the high school race number 2, and at 3 o'clock sharp, we start middle school race number 2. So everybody gets 2 races, and that's good. At 5 o'clock p.m. on the steps of the Callaway Auditorium, we will begin to hand out the awards, and we have a lot of awards. We have 4 big trophies. The 2 first place trophies are, we're calling the Georgia Cup, first annual Georgia Cup, first place high school, first place middle school overall. We will have somewhere in the neighborhood of 24 banners to give out, and these are pretty big banners. They're 2 by 3 for teams to go home and hopefully hang up in your shop so that you can show off your good performance at the Diverse Power Grand Prix. Okay, let's take a look at the racetrack now. Let's go for a little ride. What you're looking at now is a still shot of the start-finish line. Of course, on race day, what you're going to see is actually some black matting across the road. Underneath that black matting will be the race loop, which is the electronics wire that registers with your transponder. And what you're seeing also is a road that will be divided at this point, with cars coming in from the pits on the left and merging with cars who are on the right that are passing by the pits. We will have a certain part of the racetrack we're going to ask you to not pass. This part of the racetrack is a no passing zone. It's not that much of the racetrack, but it is a part of the racetrack where traffic is constrained a bit. It's a little bit narrower. There are more turns, and it's unlikely that anybody's going to be able to do much passing here. So we really don't want to smash up a bunch of green power cars. So when you're coming through this area, and the area will be designated by signs, no passing zone, stay in line one behind another. Now, the exception, of course, is if we have a car that's losing battery power and you feel like you can safely pass and get around them, go ahead and do it. Just, but let that be the only reason why you would pass in no passing zones. Once you clear the no passing zones, and I'll show you on the race video where the no passing zone ends, the course is going to get really fast and you're going to have a long way to pass the slower cars. Okay, so we're getting started now on the racetrack. As you can see, we're coming up a little bit of an incline here. We're going to make our first turn. It's a little bit of a tight turn, but you'll be able to navigate through this parking lot just fine. Now, while I shot the video, there were cars here, but you're going to be able to swing close to that curb, and when you're exiting this parking lot, make a good wide sweeping turn right here by the tennis courts. And now this ends the no passing zone. Now you're in a really fast downhill run. You're going to be able to make this turn pretty much at full speed. Don't worry about the asphalt. We're having it patched between now and race day. And this is a good long downhill stretch. You're going to be able to get a lot of speed on this stretch also. Of course, you're going to notice this speed bump. We're getting rid of the speed bump this week, so that'll be gone. So you'll be able to get a really good head of steam coming down this stretch also. Now, as we exit out of the college athletics parking lot onto Panther Way, it's another good wide curve where you're going to be able to hit it at full speed. You got a little bit of an incline, but now it levels out and you're coming down to what is the main intersection. You're going to take this turn at full speed, and this is probably going to be the fastest part of the race course right here, where you're coming down this hill wide open to the bottom of this hill. Now once you get to the bottom of this hill, you're going to come up a short incline, and you're going to turn back into the parking lot of the athletics facility. Again, we'll patch all these holes. Now once we get about here, you're going to have to take a sharp right turn. This begins the no passing zone here. Now pits go to the left, but the pass-through traffic goes to the right, and racing up here to what is the start-finish line, which is here, and that is a lap. All right, let's talk about a few general things. The number one rule, the number one focus, and the number one priority is safety. We don't want someone trying to make a move that can endanger themselves or another driver. I think we have this race structured pretty well with a very short no passing zone. And while you're in that little zone, do not attempt to pass unless you have a car that's literally running out of its battery power and moving very slow. Other than that, be aware of your environment, be aware of the other drivers when attempting to pass anywhere. If you're going to move on the track left to right or right to left, make sure that you don't have a car next to you. And while you're passing others, use your horn to signal them that you are going to pass. There is no blocking allowed. This is not a race about preventing other drivers from passing you. These races are about you and your team optimizing your car to get the most laps that you can get in 90 minutes. So look at it this way. Your biggest competitor is yourself. So there is no blocking. If a car is caught in where it's felt that they are intentionally blocking, then they may face sanctions. Don't force the passes. Wait until there's plenty of straightaways and plenty of time for the faster cars to pass the slower cars. I would say use caution when in the pit areas, and as you come around to make that right turn by the pits, make sure you drift to the left to the pits and drift to the right to pass by the pits. If there's an issue that needs to be addressed, the team coach or sponsor can address the race director in a professional manner. If a student or a group of students has a concern that needs the race director's attention, the team coach or sponsor needs to be in attendance during that conversation. During this particular race, my name is Chip Giles, and Drew Sparks from Green Power will be the race directors. Be sure to find us, and let's get out any problems on the table early so that we can solve them before they get bigger. All right, coaches, if you're a veteran coach and you notice a rookie coach walking around looking like they need some guidance or need some help, please help them out. At the end of the day, this is an educational event, and we're here to help further that education with our students. I encourage all of our veteran Green Power students to use this opportunity to uplift and congratulate those new teams and offer them a lot of encouragement and any advice that you see fit to give them. But we want to make sure that it's a very positive experience for all, and this includes helping people learn to be better Green Power teams. Pay attention to the flags at all times. Make sure that your drivers are aware of the meaning of the flags. Plan ahead. If you know you're going to have to pit drivers, make sure that you're not cutting somebody off because you didn't plan to be on the correct side of the track to pit when the pits come up. During this particular race, Parents and spectators will not be allowed in the pits. Make sure you communicate that to your parents. We love them, but we love them better when they're not in the pits. There's not enough room on this particular site, and it poses a hazard. We're having food trucks at the race. Currently, we've got 6 or 8 different food trucks, some of them coming from far away as Atlanta. So we hope that this will add a little extra to the race. Everybody seems to like food trucks. We should have coffee and hot chocolate available in the morning, as well as some breakfast items like biscuits with the food trucks. And of course, all the things that they normally serve will be available during lunchtime. I hope everybody's doing well with their presentation. Again, using e-maze, they're due for full points by this Friday, February the 8th. And the later you turn it in, the more points you lose in that particular category on the rubric. I encourage every coach and every Green Power team member to read that rubric carefully and go ahead and complete your e-maze presentation and send me the link as soon as you can. Okay, so this concludes the race briefing, the safety briefing for the Diverse Power Grand Prix. I hope that I covered all the topics. I'm sure there'll be other questions that were not asked. Coaches, if you want to, please feel free to send me an email. I'll probably shoot out an email blast to all coaches just in case they want to see the question and the answer also. I hope that all the teams will have a nice, safe trip here to LaGrange. I hope that if you have any questions at all concerning the race, lodging, LaGrange, Georgia in general, that you'll either call me or shoot me an email. I hope that all the students will remind their parents of the parent reception at 6 o'clock on Friday, and I want to see all the parents in there. And other than that, just want to wish everybody the very best of luck. Let's get ready to race.